What I'd like to do now is go straight into our next presenter. And I'm equally thrilled to introduce this man to you as well. Edip Saliba is about to join us, who's the Enterprise Skills and Training Lead from Microsoft. Now, Edip is an experienced marketing lead, a sales lead. He's been a global account manager, working for leading customers around the world in telecommunications, in media, in energy, utilities, and also in the automotive sector as well. He's got an absolute passion for his customers and for technology, helping them grow with their partners, using right solutions and making them ready to face the digital transformation opportunities that Alexander, his colleague, just mentioned a few moments ago. Building up digital marketing and sales programs to drive awareness, demand, and opportunity across multi-country markets. He's used marketing automation, he studies customer insights, he understands fully analytics, as well as social platforms and localized websites, and uses them all to drive awareness to provide solutions across the market. His main core, he says, is supporting customers and partners to stay secure, digitally transform, and be more productive, which is exactly why we have him on the agenda now, following that opening keynote presentation that we had. As a project and a program manager, he's supported tech and management projects across many top enterprises. He leads over 150 teams across several work streams in digital, web, and technology implementations. And he's got a proven track record across the board. The title of Edip's presentation is Your Customers Need a Partner with Cloud Expertise. Is your company prepared? Let's find out as we welcome Edip Saliba. Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Michael, for the great introduction. And hi, everyone. I would really love to be present at the C3. It's a great event. But instead, I need to give you a lot of greetings from my home office in Düsseldorf, from the beautiful Germany, and I hope you are all doing well. I would like just to talk a little bit about me. There are three symbols, and I just tell you what they stand for. The heart stands for multicultural, and it's really where I'm standing for. I come when I was 7 years to Germany. I'm talking a language which is over 4,000 years old. It's called Aramaic. I studied in UK, working for an American company. I play drums in a Turkish band, and I believe to be inclusive is one of the biggest value of our human race. And then this is something really I celebrate with this. And the second part and the second symbol is a chip, and the chip stands for technology. I really love technologies. You will see me sometimes fixing broken iPhones of my kids, playing around with home automation at home. For me, actually, the core tester of all this is my wife. If she likes it and she approves it, it's so to say waterproven. But technology, honestly, is for me, not for the sake of technology, but which value it brings to the people and whether they can achieve more with this technology. This is where I'm super excited about. The third symbol is the brain, let's say, that stands for lifelong learning. I consider myself as a lifelong learner. And to be honest, that was not always the case. After secondary school, it was like I was really glad that I needed not to go to school anymore. And then I did an apprenticeship in electronics and recognized this is really a topic which was catching me. And so I decided then to continue again, back, so to say, to school or university, studying engineering business. And I started my career as a project manager and management consultant, and later started at Microsoft in many roles in sales, marketing, and now actually the topic we're discussing about worldwide learning. And especially on this topic, as an enterprise skills manager, we are having, and I'm having specifically, a lot of discussions with chief learning officer, IT decision makers, business decision makers on elaborating how to implement a learning culture within the company, implementing the right programs, and make sure that the people love what they're doing and start their skilling journey. So why is learning and education so important, and why is it crucial right now? I love the quote of John F. Kennedy, where he said that there's nothing more expensive than education. It's no education. And if you look back in a lifespan of human being, which takes 70 years, this quote is becoming even more relevant. And just think about, generally speaking, like 5 to 10 years ago, and which roles are existing now, like Azure scientist, security engineer, automated driving engineer. So why specifically is it important, and why is it important for you as a company and as an individual? I think generally change and development belongs to us as a human being. It's a natural habit. I believe nearly every one of you have changed and most probably is doing a different role than in the past. And by the way, I'm doing a completely different role 5 years ago. And 5 years ago, we started at Microsoft to change our marketing to digital marketing. And I was in the product management and was doing in the old fashioned, let's say, the marketing as I learned it at university. And when we changed, it was, to be honest, a super painful process to learn all the new tools and to learn all the stuff around digital marketing automation, etc. So when I went through the entire process, I recognized afterwards that actually marketing is not anymore efficient if the digital component is not playing a role. It could be even, let's say, a marketer is irrelevant without understanding the digital component of marketing. So why I'm saying that, if we talk about technical roles and technology and digital transformation shifts, it's not about technology professionals only. It's really impacting every one of us. It doesn't matter whether you're in sales, in marketing, in purchasing, etc. So as I said, it's not for tech professionals, it's for everyone. And also the behavior change, by the way. If I look in 2019, I was looking for a car manufacturer, and he was telling me for 30 minutes meeting, let's come over to my place. It's 300 kilometers away. So each way 300 kilometers makes 6 hours approximately by car. So I asked, can I do that virtual? And the message was here, no, actually, we want to have you face to face. Yeah, and just think about how that changes specifically on the last 14 to 16 months. It is estimated that 800 million new jobs will be created due to digital transformation, and 150 million specifically tech roles in the next 5 years. So what does it mean for people, and what does it mean for companies? If 70% of the new jobs will be created, which doesn't exist now, a lot of skills will be not there, which employees don't have. If they don't gain them quick enough, there is the issue that they're running on risk not to stay employable anymore. What does it mean for companies? For companies, actually, it's the way around. Currently, it costs the economy 160 billion because they have a missed skill gap. And if they don't build up the right skills in the future, the gap will be even bigger. And so it's really crucial and even a differentiator to innovate in future with the right technical people. But the issue is currently, and this is where I'm hearing from every industry, from every leader, it's hard to find technical skilled people to drive innovation. And this is actually the starting point. But the run on technical skilled people is not coming from the technology company, by the way. It's coming primarily from non-tech. This is what it shows here. 11% of the demand of hiring is coming from non-tech companies. And the software engineer has a 3 times higher demand as a classical mechanical engineer in the auto industry. As I'm speaking about the car industry, that's just to give you an insight and also to understand where this demand is coming from. A modern car has 100 million line of codes already. This is 40% more than a Windows machine. So across all industry, as you can see, software is becoming super relevant, a core differentiator, and the biggest driver for them to innovate. But now let's really talk about some really good news. I believe they are really, really good, because over 70% of the employees are ready to completely get retrained. And just think about this huge potential in your end when 70% of you people are ready to get and gain a completely huge skill. And by the way, this is not only a number which is on a McKinsey study or based on a McKinsey study. It's coming across all the discussion that I have with top industry and global players worldwide. They even are surprised on the demand they have and the hunger their employees have to start learning new skills. And I'm seeing companies, a lot of them having learning and development process as a side process. That means it's not core yet of the company. And as I give you the example of a car, really think about learning and skilling like the engine which belongs to a car. Until now, every car has an engine which drives it. And learning culture should be seen like that, as an engine of the company. Let's quickly also tell you a couple of insights how we see ourselves, and maybe you can also find a value on your end when it comes to learning and company culture. At Microsoft, we understand ourselves as a learning company, but it does not mean we are ready, we are finished. Actually, it's a journey for us, and we are not there, by far not there. We see us as a company who never wants to stop developing itself with the learning culture and motivate our employees to do the same. As tech company, we want to role modeling this, and we want to motivate our customers, other companies, and individuals to do the same. Therefore, our engagement has three areas: how we skill customer and partners, how we skill our own Microsoft employees, and how we skill future generations, who are actually the generation with skills relevant in the upcoming generation. In the following slide, there are a couple of insights, what we are doing, and maybe some tips and let's say tricks, which may be also helpful for you in your journey. Let's start with the first topic, which is around skill customers and partners. For us, it is super critical that we are delivering an end-to-end experience, and here our learning partners are playing a huge role as well to do so. And for us, it's not about that people learning the right skills. It's really about that people preparing for an exam and doing the certification. And again, a lot of things change here as well. When I talked to the top customers in 2019 in Germany and across Europe and said, do you want to have a virtual classroom? There was the message, absolutely no way to do a virtual classroom on site. I wanted to have on site because this is how it works. And you see that change out as well. And the other insight which I can share you is around the value of the exam preparation. So I told my customers, if you do the fundamentals training, it's easy for you, for instance, to pass the Azure certification. Until actually I started it by my own. And I told you my background. I have an engineering background. I'm passionate about technology. So I thought that's easy for me. And I was doing the training, going to the exam, and failed completely. I was really shocked. It was like, oh my God, that was something I've proposed to all my customers, and it didn't even work for me. But with this failure and with these things which didn't work well, it encouraged me to say, what do I need to do for the customer and on my end to improve on that? And I learned that actually an exam prep will work very well. And exam prep is now part of our entire offering, but 2 years ago it was not. So I implemented this one with a lot of customers, and we succeeded from actually a pass rate from 30% to 70% with it. And that was really, say, underlining the importance of learning. And that was based on my personal failure. And what I see as well, there have never been so many opportunities to start learning and to gain the right skill. Here are some selected highlights, not a complete list, to be honest, what we offer or what our learning partners are offering, but some inspiration, what I believe can help you to start your own skilling journey as well. First of all, we have Microsoft Learn. It's our self-paced learning portal. A lot of people want not to go to a classroom training. They want to learn by their own. Sometimes they have 30 minutes between a meeting, and they are using that time for a small, we call it nugget learning, and learn at this time. Then we have what we called, I think, a great resource, virtual training days. They are actually for everyone who wants to gain fundamentals training for Azure Cloud, Microsoft 365, Power Platform, Dynamics, etc. There are broadcasted events with chat moderator asking personal questions, etc. It's a super great resource, again, to enter the level for the cloud. And we receive a lot of questions of AI leaders, of business leaders, who are asking us, what are resources for me? Because the resources so far, I told you, are more technical orientated. We have, for this reason, the AI Business School. It's primarily for AI business people who are interested to go deeper in the topic of AI, because that's really a super mission critical topic. Is some people even say it's like, if you don't know AI, it's like you're an analphabet in future. We have a great other initiatives we are super proud of. A colleague of mine has just launched it. It's called Skill Her. It's a technical program to learn cloud fundamentals and AI content specifically for females. And last but not least, we have a great initiative for people who are job seekers, who are running at risk losing their jobs. We call it Global Skills Initiative. It has trained over 25 million people already. It's in cooperation with LinkedIn Learning and GitHub. It doesn't only give you a great variety of learning paths like project manager, marketeers, etc. It also gives you the opportunity to search for jobs at LinkedIn as well. I hope that gives you some inspirations. And let me start to jump to the next topic, because all this is only relevant if you are having a decent and relevant learning culture in your end. But what does it mean? Again, there was a huge acceleration the last 16 months. The implementation of a learning cultures across the company was something I really recognized was moving so fast, and a lot of initiatives and positive feedback come from the people I talk to. So what does really goes to a learning culture? And we see four things in our end, which are really were like the four core pillars which help us driving this learning culture and culture as such. One is behavior. Well, the other one is systems, symbols, and storytelling. What does it mean? Behaviors, it's really about how you act. Do you do what you say? Do you live upon learning culture, and do you really learn, or do you just communicate on that? It's really about how you act, how you behave, and what you communicate. It's something around everything around behavior, and it turned out this is a super critical area. We are practicing it at Microsoft regularly, and we are modeling it. And that means we are having our dedicated training for that, which consumes a lot of time, but that's the area where we are investing a lot. The other one is really about systems, processes, and tools which are in place to foster and to help you there. And we at Microsoft has a process which we called MS Connect. It's our Microsoft Connect, which we have on a quarterly basis. And here we are measuring not only how we performed in business the last quarter, we are also measuring things like, have I shared content on my end and knowledge and helped others to succeed? And have I also used other content and insights of other colleagues to be myself successful? And you see, this is really driving culture as well by using the right systems. The other one, the next point is really about symbols. Symbols are super critical to reinforce and highlight what is important and what not. It can be an award. It can be also a smaller speech, or recognizing someone for great work, moving to the direction of a learning culture and the desired culture we want. Last but not least, it's really about storytelling, how you build your narrative, talking about culture, learning culture, about taking risks, maybe failing fast and learn from that, etc. And the question is now, that sounds like a lot. And the question is, how can you maybe also implement that on your end? So let's go to a couple of tips and tricks which we have learned, which may be also helpful for you. First of all, the amazing thing about learning culture and culture is actually that everyone is participating. We are part of the culture and can define culture by our own, and actually driving the culture for people around us and within our company. So here's tip one. You need to make space for learning. it's really not easy. I know we have tight schedules, and usually that's something we deprioritizing. So I started myself to schedule 15 to 30 minutes a week, dedicated time, where I learn a certain topic, which I've parked maybe during the week. I found it maybe on LinkedIn Learning or MS Learn, or any topics I'm interested in, which help me in driving business. It can be also simple things around learning the tools better, and I schedule that at this stage. And over time, it's amazing how you recognize how you can do more and more focused time and make it specifically to learning by seeing the value of learning time and learning more. You're investing more time and prioritizing it better. So that's the first tip. And then the other one is really highly motivating if you know and share knowledge of things you have learned with others, because that motivates others to learn as well. For this reason, we have implemented at Microsoft a couple of things. We have implemented a community where regularly people sharing knowledge, but we have also so-called learning days. They are actually happening multiple times a year. And they are employee to employees learnings, meaning our employees teach each other schedules, calls, and at this day, all people are motivated and supposed to join to the interesting sessions for them. And that turned out to be really a huge success as well. The other thing is really about feedback. So there's nothing better than receiving honest feedback, written actually constructive feedback of colleagues you're regularly working with. And that also motivates you and also identify areas where you can improve. A good example on that is, by the way, Netflix. And Netflix is using very, very deeply the feedback culture to improve constantly, to innovate, and you see them how they innovate constantly. And they have even one part which I found really fascinating. They have one part which is called Keeper Test. And essentially they ask, would you fight and keep me in my role if I would quit the job? And this is really tough feedback, but it helps the people to say, what do I need and where do I need to improve to move ahead? Tip number 4 is really about practicing and recognizing feedback. And let's face it, everyone loves awards, loves recognition, and makes it really formal and make sure people get recognized, not always for bigger things, something, maybe a behavior, something you recognize a person has helped another person for that. Make sure you're recognizing this. And again, that motivates people to do more like this and behave more in terms of doing the right thing in learning culture. My final tip is about measuring. So what does it all care if you're unable to measure what the progress is? And it's really about, do you do the things which are doing progress? And if not, what do you need to change to make that happen? And therefore outcomes really matter. Make sure you measure the progress of the desired outcome. And that was my final tip on generally when you implement a learning culture with your company. But there's another one, and I think this is also more important. It's not about saying the tips and tricks and about learning culture. It's really about the notion on mindset. We at Microsoft believe in the potential of growth mindset. This is basically how we define our culture. In summary, we want to go from know it all to learn it all. And that doesn't mean we don't know anything and we don't want to learn everything, but it means that we are open for new learnings and not going with a biased mindset that everything is given. To me, that was one of the biggest highlights and eye-opener when I read the book of Carol Dweck on growth mindset. And at the same time, I recognized by myself how many traits I have on fixed mindset. And here's some famous examples on the different fixed and mindset behaviors. And later I'm coming and discussing what does it mean for you. There is one, the example of John McEnroe, and maybe some of you have seen him play, and he was really playing, and when something went wrong, he was blaming everyone else, like the camera click, or his shoes were not binded, or whatever, but when he failed, he was blaming others. And this is exactly example of fixed mindset. On growth mindset, I'm taking often the example of Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan also failed a lot, but he also ensured that after a game, for instance, he recognized he did not a certain move or certain task very well, he shot a basketball 500 to 1,000 times to train over and over again. And he by himself saying, that was really hard training for me. It was not genetic. And this is for me a great example of growth mindset. A final example, which is my favorite one. This is a picture of a person who obviously is not very strong in drawing. I'm not strong in drawing as well. And when I was in the primary school, I saw a lot of children who were like doing very well. And I thought, oh my God, that's something I can never do. So I'm telling you this example. It turned out, and that was coming and revealed out of the book on growth mindset from Carol Dweck, that people who are drawing well has actually a better developed right brain or right side of their brain, which stands for creativity. And with a 4 days workshop, those same people, by training the right side of the brain, that was the picture they were able to draw. And again, this is underlining that talent isn't fixed. You have endless opportunities to learn anything, and that depends on your mindset. I want to share your recent discussion with a chief learning officer at a global company. She was asking us, we are starting our journey on learning culture within our company. What can you tell us? How can you support us? And what are insights you can help us with? The important part, and I want really also to land this message here, it's really a journey. It's not a master move. And the entire journey to implement it is actually the core part of it. And for every company, it's really working differently. And please understand it as a journey. Therefore, please understand it again as a journey and not a master move, because this is the essential part of it. I hope this encourages you to start your skilling journey and you found valuable resources. And I want to close with a quote of Peter Drucker underlining culture versus strategy and how really it is important to implement learning culture as a core pillar of the culture of your company. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. And thank you very much for listening.